Mike Quigley of Illinois. He's a Democrat on the Intelligence Committee. Congressman, you know, your committee has canceled public hearings this week, private hearings this week. You've even canceled your regular meetings. As it stands right now, 9:03 a.m. on the East Coast, is there actually a House intelligence investigation into Trump association ties with Russia?
Oh, no, there absolutely is. And at this point in time, I think it's time for the chairman to take a step back, reassess, and say, okay, we're going to reschedule that public meeting, and we're going to continue to schedule those private meetings, whomever he wants to invite. If it's Director Comey and Chairman Rogers, that's fine. But this investigation is too important to slow down. It has to move forward. It's been a rough week, but on a bipartisan basis, we can work together.
You say that, and Devin Nunes yesterday said, you know, on our air, look, we're moving forward. Why would I recuse myself? Things are moving forward. He sent a letter then to FBI Director Comey once again yesterday, inviting him to come back and testify. He signed the letter. His Democratic counterpart, Adam Schiff, the ranking member, did not sign the letter. How is that working together?
Yeah, the only thing I heard was that when it came to signing a letter, it had to do with asking Mr. Comey to be there at the same time we were having the public meeting. So in a sense, what the ranking member would be asked would be to understand and agree that we should cancel the public meeting. The fact that the chairman decided that was the only time to have Mr. Comey and Mr. Rogers in is not a coincidence. They simply don't want that public meeting. They simply don't want Ms. Yates to testify. And if they let her eventually, gosh, that'd be great. I'd love to have that move forward. But unfortunately, they've played some games the last 8 days. And what we see with the White House is the beginning, they're starting to put the bricks up to build some sort of bunker.
All right, let's break down what you said, because it seems like you're saying you're okay having the FBI director come in private. Then you brought up former acting Attorney General Sally Yates, who was supposed to testify in public. That testimony was canceled. The Washington Post claimed that it was after White House, or at a minimum, administration pressure. That's something that the administration, Sean Spicer, everyone flatly denies. Have you seen any evidence that the administration pressured your committee to cancel the hearings?
I think what was interesting is I don't think Chairman Nunes denied the fact that the White House pressured to cancel that meeting. I mean, look, this hasn't gone well for them. The first public meeting, Director Comey said there is an investigation. The fact is that the Russians conspired to help
I'm
Mr.
pretty
Trump's
sure, by
campaign.
the way, that Chairman Nunes and his staff said that they had no conversations with the White House at all about Sally Yates coming to testify. Go ahead.
No, I think when given the opportunity, Chairman Nunes did not deny that the White House wanted that meeting canceled. And it's pretty obvious to me, and from all I've seen, it's pretty obvious to me that they did not want Ms. Yates to testify. It's pretty obvious to me that they attempted to block her testimony.
All right, well, you heard Sean Spicer yesterday, Congressman, say, you know, we welcome her testimony. We have no problem with her testimony. He went so far as to say we hope she testifies. And if you look and read through the actual letters between the Department of Justice, Sally Yates' attorneys, and the White House, you know, they said, look, we want her to be able to testify in full, not have any of this executive privilege apply. And if you, the White House, do not reply by X date, we will take that to mean you are fine with that. And the White House did not reply by X date, Sean Spicer says, indicating they were fine with her testifying. Do you not buy that argument?
I don't buy the argument. I'll believe it when I see it. They have done nothing but obstruct and distract from this campaign.
The letters are out there. What do you mean see it?
Yeah. I will tell you, it is my firm belief that they attempted to block her testimony. That's really all I can tell you at this point.
But it's just a belief, right? Just to be clear, it's a belief you haven't seen.
I can't talk about what I've seen.
Okay. All right. Well, that's an explanation. Let me change the subject here slightly. Ryan Lizza of The New Yorker is suggesting that he saw evidence of coordination between the White House and Chairman Nunes prior to last week's public hearing. This is what Ryan wrote. The White House clearly indicated to me that it knew Nunes would highlight incidental collection. It's backdoor surveillance where it's not just incidental, it's systematic. The White House official said, watch Nunes today. This was a conversation that Ryan had before the hearing, before Chairman Nunes went to the White House, before Chairman Nunes went to the White House a second time to inform the president. Would it bother you if the White House and the chairman were coordinating or at least communicating about this notion of incidental contact before even the hearing last week?
Well, first of all, I think that's exactly what has happened. Just understand, again, I think the world of Chairman Nunes, he's been very fair the first 2 years. When President Trump became president, that all changed. Do I think that there's coordination between the White House and the chairman? Absolutely. As to cancel meetings, as to this midnight excursion, where did he go? He went to the White House. This isn't going well for them. They hate the fact that the first public hearing went so poorly. That's why the second one was canceled. I think, unfortunately, the chairman is serving two masters, and he can't do that.
Let me just ask you this to wrap up, because only one Republican lawmaker on the House side, Representative Walter Jones, has called for Nunes to recuse himself from this investigation. If more Republicans don't follow suit, what's your strategy? What's your play?
And there's absolutely nothing we can do. This is up to the chairman himself and the Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
I do believe the American public wants us to go forward on a bipartisan basis. It's hard to do with the credibility we need, unfortunately, with this chairman in place.
All right, Democratic Congressman Mike Quigley of